accomplished in a year of consistent effort. They're looking for the magic formula, the secret shortcut. But success isn't about shortcuts. It's about the long cut. It's about doing the right things day after day, even when nobody's watching, even when you don't feel like it. I had a friend once.
Well, success is about doing the same thing over and over again, even if there's nobody watching. Good evening, everybody. This was Jim Rohn, one of the greatest mentors who has ever lived, and somebody that we grew up listening to. And thank you so much to all of you for joining us. I'm the president of Amandla Omnotho, and we're here on our every Sunday session where we talk entrepreneurship. This is a chill out session, which is more about informing you about what's happening across the world in terms of economic activity and basically economic development and even socio-economic issues. And even some of the very important things which could be geopolitical that are really driving the change that we are seeing happening. We know we've just had BRICS happening, and I think many of you and many of us follow that structure very closely because we are part of it, and it seems to be bringing about change that truly is impacting the world in a different direction, and so positively, I must say. So thank you to all of you for joining in. I know there are new people who have joined us. We are starting, just to respect time, we always started about 5 past, and to make sure that at least every one of us who is here get to move alongside the meeting. So today's session has got a few of the people that you know who are going to be talking to us about the importance of the sectors of economy that we are targeting lately. And it's the usual suspects, so to speak, people that always speak to us. And we need to keep drumming up this message whenever we find time to make sure that we get to understand it. The economic landscape is very tricky and very complex. And we need to all the time, get ourselves activated in our minds and ensure that we are really, clear as to what is happening and how do we need to tackle this beast. It's all about economic development. It's all about entrepreneurship. It's all about us participating meaningfully in the economy, especially we around this table, the African people, Black people, even though we will have other people joining us, but we know how Africa is predominantly African people who are really lagging behind literally in every sphere of life. Maybe in politics it's better, but when you're talking business and economy and the ownership of the means of production, we truly are lagging behind. And the discussions around this platform of Amandla Omnotho is precisely around such, where we say, how do we get a hold and get to grip with this very big, monstrous type beast, and make sure that we truly become meaningful actors and players and producers of what we consume. This platform serves that purpose, where we invite experts to come talk to us. But more than anything else, as you have always heard, we talk about implementation, because we always connect to the policy of government, which is supposed to be really assisting us to drive economic development meaningfully in our country, and thereby bring about the real change that we need to bring in our society. So this platform really serves exactly to do that. So it's such an honor, therefore, for all of you to come over to this platform. And it's tri-dimensional, it's triangulated strategy, which I'll talk to right at the end of this, where we have Amandla Omnotho right on top, which is a platform that serves economic development with over 100,000 entrepreneurs. And we have got the second leg, which is Operation Buyelekhaya. And Operation Buyelekhaya, it's that strategy which says, me as uKukulethu Xaba Wanongoma, I can't just be living here in Johannesburg and living large and forget about my small town and my rural people and what could be done to really hold hands with our brothers and sisters in our rural spaces and work together. to bring about economic emancipation, to really activate economy on the ground, to bring, all of those brains and together do something meaningful to change the status quo of our people and ourselves and the generations to come. But thirdly, we've got Rural Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which is a very new leg that we're so excited about, which we launch on the 22nd of November. Very important. You have to listen to that right at the end of this session when you talk about that. Why Rural Chamber of Commerce and Industry? There's never been such. It's a first of its kind. We're trying to organize rural people like myself and yourself with Siben Endlela, organize and connect to other chambers of commerces, but package land parcels, package programs on the ground, package sectors that talk to rurality, right? And this is very important because most of our African continent is still very rural and virgin. That means there's so much opportunities in our African continent for all of us to exploit. The fact that we still called maybe a dark continent, whoever says that, if you are talking dark literally in the sense of no electricity, for me as an engineer, it's an opportunity because it says I therefore can come up with a program to bring about solar or wind power or anything of the sort to power up Africa and to make Africa a better continent. So this platform is about nothing else but that which is economic development and entrepreneurship. So we've got a lot of people that join us in the continent as well. This is just to welcome you as well. And we've got a lot of people who join us as well from overseas. And thank you to all of the people that have joined us. So today's session is literally going to be addressed in the main by Sandile Mahlaba, who is working for Microsoft, but he has got his own company. You know, Sandile Mahlaba always enlightens us a lot about digital skills that are required in the 21st century. In one of the seats I sit in, we produced a paper, which is food and beverage manufacturing SITA, that talks about future skills. And Mr. Mahlaba is going to be taking us through that to remind us of the importance. He's going to be part of the Rural Chamber because the Rural Chamber, we're using geographic information systems, science of all sorts to package ourselves in rural places. Tobendlo, you know her, she always comes here talking about some of the programs that we're already driving, which among others have to do with creating our own rural estate. We're creating one, as you know, which is just a stone throw away from Prince Grand Estate. You know, I'm very excited that many of you have bought into that because if it's to be, it's up to us. And it's not going to be a question of us waiting for people that don't know us or understand us and how our development goes. So this is Sandile Mahlaba is going to be talking to that. I had featured Nobantu Mfeka, who is in the States, a friend of mine, who some of you would know. She's married to Dr. Bheki Mfeka, was the advisor to President Zuma some years ago. She was going to talk about the Copyrights Amendment Act. Because we're very much concerned with that. And I was very happy to hear the minister concerned talking about it, going back, and the president taking it back to, to be reviewed and all of that, because that is the economy that we deal with. There's no holy cow here on the Amandla Omnotho. We deal with primary sectors of economy, predominantly in the agricultural space, very big there. And I'm excited that I, as a farmer too, and you are farmers, and we're saying people must farm. Let's farm the land. Let's stop fighting over land. The legal land that we have, let's farm over it. It's very important. And that's what we try and encourage here on this platform. I'm just back as well from planting maize now after planting potato. I'm excited when I see the rain comes because there is no space for us to just sit and relax, even in the 5-10 hectares of land parcels that we may have. People have got thousands of hectares, but it's not being utilized. That's what the Royal Chamber of Commerce is going to be addressing. And we've got Mbendelo Mbatha, our young man who is making waves in the goats space, just going to talk about goats as to what's going to be happening next in that particular space. And Truman Hadebe, who's talking rabbits. And, rabbit industry is one industry that we're concerned with and which we have really decided to take up on and really make it part of our economic development. And we've got the most important, not the least brother, who is our brother, Dr. Godfrey Marange, Dr. Godfrey Maranga, you know, him and I have got a company called Global African Herbal Solutions. We have our offices there in Germany. We have been able to, through him, secure serious markets. And I'm still going to hum this and really harp on it for as long as possible to make sure that people end up getting to understand what is this whole thing of medicinal herbs about. And please, for those that really want to start, let's start. He's going to talk about the whole list of other medicinal herbs. Maybe those are the people, and that's how our program is going to be running tonight. And we'll have time for questions, and so that you can be able to ask questions where you need to, and all of that. Welcome to our Zimbabwean brothers and the Eswatini brothers. We are launching in Zimbabwe. You remember last week, virtually so as well. But in Eswatini, we are so excited that programs are already running there, including building of other factories that we have really started with the government there. So I'm going to, without any further ado, just I heard that Dr. Makosi Kwaza is here, just to especially acknowledge you, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. I understand you are fully in business now. Engineer Madela tells me, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, yes. So we're going to just allow some of our speakers to just speak. Bendolo, maybe if I were to start with Bendolo, the gold business. KwaZulu-Natal alone consumes R1 billion worth of gold annually. That is quite a lot. And many of them are imported into the province, either from other provinces or from neighboring countries. The gold industry is an industry that, you know, this thing, because we're talking as well, we're dabbling on social economy and political economy. We keep losing the sectors that even our forefathers used to tend to. Very small sectors, and people organize around all of those sectors. And organize and organized everything and organize. So we can't just sit on the sidelines. We've got to do something about this. I'm happy that Umpendulo deserves all the support. He's one of the young men I have mentored over time. And I've been so privileged to see him grow the way he's growing. He's now supplying goat meat. Out of the 9 projects I raised them R1 million, 1.1 million rand each. And thank God for a certain MEC who was able to listen to me, who Mr. Themba Mthembu, who is the MEC of Agriculture, not even knowing what am I on about, but believed in this vision. And he said, I'm going to fund these people. And he funded them. Today, we've got Mpendulo, who is on top of everything else and driving Nyama was right across the continent. And when he's talking to get you to be part of this young man is into digital marketing space. He's not even a farmer by trade, but he's been able to turn things around in that space. So therefore, Pendulo is here and to tell us what's next. He's not going to delve much into everything about goat business per se, but instead it's just going to be talking to the next steps on the gold business in South Africa, especially for those that would like to participate at the crowdfunding level. Pendulo, I hope you can hear me. He's been driving. We actually with Pambene, because Minangisuga Drankensberg coming to Joburg. Yeah, nice. He's just left home, my space here, going down to KwaZulu-Natal. So he's going to be standing on the side of the road. Be safe wherever you are, and then give us a brief about what's next on Invest a Goat. Thank you.
Of course, thank you so much for the welcome. I'm not going to be too long because I'm on the side of the road to accommodate you. I didn't know you were coming back today. I would have rated. But anyway, just to get into the gist, as Unonkos has alluded, James Mbatha. I've been part of this program for the past roughly about 7 to 8 years now. We are basically in the process of commercializing goats. not just with meat, because ngiyazi abantu abaningi, a lot of people actually know me for the brand that we have housed and are marketing, which is in also goat meat. Currently, we are busy as I'm driving right now. I'm in Gauteng, so we are supplying goat meat in various restaurants in Gauteng right now, and then going on in even broader, reaching out into Mpumalanga as well as I'm headed towards Nelspruit in Manje ngoba sikhuluma. So in very short, the whole point of this exercise from the inception of this concept, as Nonkosi has alluded, was to try to both open up the industry imbuzi and formalize it, because as you probably know, imbuzi is a commodity that is recognized but not formalized in the sense of we are seeing it as part of various value chains. We speak about goat meat every now and again, and people get shocked. I just did a video that is trending right now on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, where I was explaining why a lot of people do not know, or choose not to eat goat meat. It's because of a stigma, and it's unfactual. So we have been working hard to reposition goat meat in the minds of people. The next step would be to reposition goat milk, because these two commodities are very, very helpful in terms of health basis towards our well-beings. Now, as probably in the near future, one will get into in depth on this, but we are now recognized by a number of institutions, particularly in the agricultural and development space. Last year, we were recognized by the National Agricultural Marketing Council as the market for goat farmers in the whole of South Africa. This year, I had the privilege of actually being recognized by the Agricultural Research Council, which is ARC, that is based in Irene near Pretoria. They are going to be helping us feed lots and also process properly inyama yembuzi, goat meat, for the access of various markets and various retailers like your Pick and Pays and so on. There are a number of them that you're already speaking to right now that are going to be receiving this product. Why are we doing this? Basically, it all started off by us asking the question, Wutsi, seeing as imbuzi zikhona, goats have been part of the oldest forms of domesticated animals in our history as Africans, but they are the least considered in terms of commercialization, because there is no value chain that has been identified for goats. Now, I found that Nonkosi, this is factual or even evident across Africa. There's no country that is out in the open to say, Tina, we are openly, have enough a big supply chain to receive goats for processing. We are retailing goats. I'm dealing with Kenya right now, as we are talking about exports of both live animals as well as meat-based products. And they are also alluding to the fact that on their own side as well, they are trying to also get inyama yembuzi, goat meat, also part of the mainstream value chain of meat, because they're obviously in countries like Uganda, Kenya, and Nigeria in Africa, as well as in Zimbabwe, goat meat is regarded as a delicacy. But yet we are still not seeing it at the marketable stage, just like pork, beef, and poultry, and other various meats that we commonly see on the plate. So the whole point of this was really to try to channel our farmers to be able to farm accordingly as what is needed by the value chain, because we are finding with abantu abaningi njengoba nazi nje, as you probably know, imbuzi, you just take them as a form of a subsistence farming exercise and not of commercial. So our inception, or our existence as a brand as well as an association, we've now been able to be identified as well as recognized by some agricultural councils to actually help in identifying a way to create a value chain, create a systematic way for a supply chain to happen, as well as create a way at which we're going to market to the market. Now, Alama products, here are these products that are coming from goats. they can be recognized, and this is what can be recognized by them through research and development. That's why we are working with the Agricultural Research Council, as we have started, like Irene. So in short, the next step right now, Nonkosi, we are working on an investable. In fact, it's not even the next step. We've already started working on an investable model that obviously is going to look at imbus, not inyama imbus, but look at goats as a form of commodity, and then be able to raise up necessary investments. So then the investment vehicle that you've just developed since 2022 was Investor Goats. Now, the whole concept around Investor Goats is of crowd farming as well as crowd buying, because we are getting continuously farmers coming to us, farmers as far as Northwest, Eastern Cape, Northern Cape, which are the main provinces that produce goats, actually coming to us and saying, guys, we need markets. We have goats. We have, at some point, I actually went to the Northern Cape, in Kuruman and all these other areas, Kimberley, and where we were in touch with a mine like Exaro that is already running a program to assist these farmers to be able to farm. Now, after they've assisted them to farm, there is then a lack of market for them to actually be able to access, besides exports, but there was a need to domesticate this product locally. So we've then created a vehicle called Investor Goats, whereby we are inviting any investor to actually come on board to say, look, I want to have a share and a partnership on this, as we are working so hard to actually commercialize goats, as well as try to assist our farmers, because Investor Goats works in three ways. Number one, it works in the form of access to animals, to farmers that we are working with, especially under the associations. One of them is Kagaza Goat Farmers Association. These farmers, we want them to farm these goats so that Sizobanigi markets, so that we can give them markets in the short run, because a majority of time people start goat farming particularly, and then they lack there is market penetration or identification. That's why a lot of goat farmers, they don't get funded by any funding institution. So on the farmer side, we enable them to have access to quality genetic animals to be able to farm in the specification that we need, Tina, as a market. On the side of the market, then we are processing for production in the sense of meats, njengamanje, at which we are selling not just meat only, but offals, heads. At some point, even iskumba, your hides, we actually sell to tanneries, even manure, umquba lo qamuke embuzini. Now, it's its own market on its own. So with all of these things, we've identified more than 7 markets that can be actually beneficial from one goat. So on the second part, that's where the benefits comes from. The market then benefits by being able to have a continuous supply chain of goats. And then on the third person that actually benefits from Investor Goats is the investor. Because look, one thing that is very beneficial to goats compared to your cow or your cattle is that obviously we have a 2 period of kidding season over a year. So what we have now done is that we've identified certain farms at which our farms are going to be farming all together in a synchronized manner, at which they are going to be producing goats for the whole year in a synchronized way, at which we know for sure there will never be a shortage of stock. A lot of people may know this, which at some period in a year, there is a very shortage, a huge shortage about game bulls because of availability, because goats are seasonal animals. We told you at that point, imbuzi can cost as much as 3,700 C1. In fact, it's factual right now, because there in Port Shepstone, you get goats as expensive as that much. So the third person that we want to bring on board and benefit from Investor Goats is the investor, because we are going to be in business the whole year. Amandiya namabhunu njengamanje asivalile kule market, and the people that are really benefiting kakhulu are farmers from Namibia, and a majority of them are white. And unfortunately, even the goats that are coming in to particularly in KZN, they are not bred to be used the way Amazulu are using them. But Amazulu right now are getting a stock that is a stock as a reject. Imbuzi lezo sihlabayo bafethu for imisebenzi nani. akusiza imbuzi eziquality lezi efana bese siyayithola. So-ke what we want to come into the gap that we are seeing as an opportunity for all these key players, your farmer, your market, as well as your investor to come together and then be able to buy together. We are headed towards December and we already have farmers that are in line, that are ready to supply us. But yeah, obviously, because we are speaking to funding institutions, various funding institutions, a majority of them obviously we are in the pipeline of their funding. But sibona ukuthi ngoba sesiyako December nje, both imbuzi as well as ikapu is going to be in a high rise of demand. So okay, we are extending an invitation to Amandla Omnotho and any investor from the platform to actually come on board and meet up with us so that we can explain how the process actually works. And we've actually consolidated so many things in terms of our costs to make it much more easier for anybody to be able to come in and take up an investment model that is going to fit them and be able to pay out in a very shorter time. But we are very, very strict in terms of who are we working with, as well as the constitutions that you've constructed to mitigate everything that might supposedly go wrong. So, okay, we've done our compliance, we've done everything in place, everything is ready now to say, look, we can be able to house our investors. We start buying these animals, and then we see through December, but also we are able to supply this market continuously going forward. You can send an email to two of these emails. It's either investagoat, info@investorgoat.co.za, or go to the www.investorgoat.co.za website. Ngiyaphinda futhi www.investorgoat.co.za website and see documentation ngendlela esi-set up ngayo and how we breakdown actually happens. After this, to want to find out even more, we are going to have a meeting this Wednesday with those that are interested with the because we already have some investors that we're on our side. In fact, we got even Saudi Arabia that have joined us in this pursuit, and we are just trying to open it up to the local space. So okay, we would rather work with a platform like Amandla Omnotho than have opening up to the general public, because we need this consolidated and managed to the T. With any questions, because ngizokhatheka ngisesemgwaqeni sizokhuluma but investorgoat.co.za.
Before you go, Shando, what time is the meeting on Wednesday? Because that point must be clear. What time is the meeting on Wednesday for those that need to attend the virtual session where we'll go deeper with everything? What time?
We will set it up to be at 5:30, 5:30 on Wednesday. And okay, those who are following us on Amandla Omnotho on all socials, you get the poster, as well as on my socials, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and all these other things. We'll put out the poster, but at 5:30, we should be able to meet, and then you'll take it forward from there.
Thank you so much, Shandu. Drive safe. But before you go, I'm not sure whether there's any one person with any question quickly before we let him go. I know he's on the road, but much of the questions obviously will be answered on Wednesday. This was just a teaser for you to know that this is what's going to be happening.
Thank you so much, Bud. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. Truly appreciate Shandu. Drive safe. So, by way to imbuzi kumanje ziyahlatshwa kakhulu, especially as it is this festive season. This opportunity will be open so that we can be able to purchase goats and in a crowdfunding form sell them. I can tell you that goats are being slaughtered as we speak. This whole 2-3 months until January, whatever. Kakhulukazi amaZulu njengathi lapho KwaZulu Natal and elsewhere in the country, slaughtering of goats is happening literally every time, including, by the way, the sheep. So the program will be talking beyond just goat, but including sheep, because we can't be overtaken by other people in terms of this sector when we know very well that the sector yethu lesikhule ngayo siyaziyo kakhulu yeimbuzi. So thank you so much. If I may move along quickly, and again, if you have got questions, please take note of those. We'll have that session open. Truman Hadebe, we're dealing with rabbits. Rabbits is part of our most important feature. We started with rabbits a few years ago. There have been some successes as well as failures. But this is one industry which is very important. Mr. Hadebe Pungane had a session which we supported as Amandla Omnotho to ensure that, he updates those that are interested in Rabbit 3 about what's going to happen and what's happening going forward. And over to you, Hlubi.
Nonkosi ngibingelele mzowethu ithimba lonke lamandla omnotho abathamele lo mhlangano. Hey kule yama rabbits onogwaja, as we fondly call them, in KZN, Eastern Cape, you might call them imvundla and umvundla. So I think maybe just to add to what Mpendulo has just shared, indaba yonogwaja is not too different from neyimbuzi. Yabona nje zonke izinto bangathatha yonke lento ade show uMpendulo bese uyayi-apply kule imbuzi in the interest of time. But our chairman Nonkosi ebethe nje ake ngilokhuze ngenze i-debrief in terms of the recent meeting that we had. So into ade sizama ukuyenza in essence was to consolidate ourselves, all the rabbit farmers, bese kuba yilaba bakwi-retail, to essentially formalize the market first within Amandla Omnotho Rabbit Association. Because what we've seen more often than not, ukuthi indlela esisebenza ngayo, not just as farmers, but specifically indaba yonogwaja, the rabbit farmers, is that wonke umuntu ebeyisebenzela ngendlela yakhe ekhoneni lakhe, what we call udla yedwa mentality, which is not really helping us, especially when it comes to the rabbit business. So zonke izinto ade uMpendulo ekhuluma ngazo in terms of the value chain and all of that, and even in terms of the struggles that they've been through as goat farmers and those who are in the retail end of the supply chain. Nala kuleyo nogwaja is the same challenges, but ngingathi nogwaja is double, if not more than that, because one, unogwaja, unlike imbuzi ukuthi zifuyiwe imbuzi emzini eminingi emakhaya, futhi kune-season la ihlatshwa khona kakhulu. Unogwaja, you would really find a restaurant that sells rabbit meat. That's number one. Number two, kube indaba yelukhuza-ke ye-retail. In the retail space, kungaba o-Shoprite, Spar, wonke ama-retail outlets, supermarkets, even ama-butcheries, there's no rabbit meat. So kumhlangano wethu-ke besibuka ukuthi njengendle emnyama la sisuka khona ukuthi khona izilwane ade sizidla sizingela endle kulaba abakhulele emakhaya. Kodwa-ke futhi noma ungakhulelanga emakhaya khona nje abazaziyo, they've even tasted some of these, meat options. So into ade sengibheka kile ukuthi looking at the business case ye-chicken, njengabantu abansundu, now we buy a lot of chicken meat from the big retailers, Shoprite, Pick n Pay, Woolworths, you name them. Yet this is a product that, not so long ago, just look at 20 years back, iy'nkukhu bezifuyiwe emakhaya, sizidla iy'nkukhu singenankinga, kodwa inkukhu le yesilungu is now promoted to a level where we even shun upon, the chicken yasekhaya. Ngabe inkukhu yesintu, ngabe ibiza ngenkukhu yehlubi noma yesiXhosa noma yesiZulu noma yesisuthu, but inkukhu yesintu into leyo ebesikhule siyidla. So sithi-ke ngendaba-ke yanogwaja, umvundla, the rabbit, we really need to make sure that we are wide awake. We don't want to find ourselves in the same position as that of a chicken, where other nations are going to come to us as Black people and then start selling rabbit meat products. or just rabbit meat i-raw ukuthi uyithenge uhambe uyokwenza ngayo i-stew ekhaya, uhambe uyoyigrilla, uhambe uyoyosa oyosayo. So this is such a great opportunity. Mangathiwa nje ngiyikha phezulu, that is actually what we are trying to do right now, to make it an option, but starting within. Ukuthi sibambisane, because there's something that they always say in farming: you go to any nation, the farming business requires collaboration, requires partnership. You cannot do it alone. You can have all the land, have all the resources. In one way or another, you are going to need someone who's either going to be a distributor, a retailer of that product, or a consumer. And of course, what we tend to do in any business, if you're starting a business, you're all thinking about customers. Good to know, I can get customers, you know, or even if I get 10, 20, just for a start, I'll be okay. Then I can scale up. But we forget about the entire value chain to say, you know, if you really want to go far, you need partnership, you need collaborations, you need to make sure that there is someone, because you cannot do everything all by yourself. Mangakunikeza nje example. So one of the case studies that we looked at KFC. We also looked at Rainbow Chicken. They now call themselves RCL Foods, right? So if I can make an example, those two businesses, KFC, the KFC that we eat, not to mention other restaurants, just KFC alone. I used to work for Rainbow, and back then, we were told that 60% of Rainbow Chicken revenue at the time was coming from KFC, just KFC alone. 60% of the entire business revenue was coming from KFC. But the question I keep asking people when I'm making this example is, how many of you know, if you go to KFC, there's nothing about Rainbow Farms, Rainbow Chicken, or what they call themselves now, RCL Foods. You wouldn't see it anywhere. That's just an example of partnership. What partnership, collaboration, and strategic partnerships can do to help your business grow. Tina, we've got a huge advantage. Ukuthi siyazana. Akekho umuntu okumele ahambe aye kude mhlawumbe ayopitcha send ama-proposals. At this stage, the industry, the rabbit market is not formalized, it is not known. So isikhathi esi-right lesi sokuthi sihlangane sisebenze market. It's not going to be easy, but we've got an audacious goal. So we made an example ka Rainbow Chicken ukuthi ka KFC and Rainbow Chicken, of course, ukuthi where they are today, the rabbit business in 5 years, 10 years from now, we want to see the same thing happening to rabbit meat. We want it to be an option that is normal to all South Africans, all Africans. But starting with South Africa, we want to promote it to a level where it becomes one of the meat options, just like beef, just like pork, inkukhu, inyama yenkukhu, inyama yemvu, the mutton, and other meat options are called. So how do we do that? Where we are currently, where we're going. So just to summarize, so currently that's where we are. So meeting here too, it was about basically sharing strategies, how to capture the value chain, the entire value chain. How are we then going to roll it out as farmers? How we need to work together to make sure that there's enough supply in the market, because the moment we start having customers, we start having a lot of demand from the market. One thing that always frames any business is to promote the business, you promote the product, and then people start getting excited, they start buying, and then suddenly you fail to supply. So those are the type of strategies we're talking about to say, how do we best position ourselves as farmers to make sure that we've got adequate supply, And then while we're creating the demand, so one of the strategies was that we need not to wait for the demand to come to us. We need to create demand. And how do we do that? Siya emakhaya, kwaNtuthu, kwaNkomo kayicoshwa, kwaNkomo iNew Polish. Sithi kube indaba yale nyama kaNogwaja ukuthi ijwayeleke ngaphambi kokuthi siye esilungwini. So mhlambe ke mangathiwa ngigoqa ke so manje into ebelene ngayo ukuthi nonkosi masiya phambili. The next meeting we are going to be talking about, in terms of pricing, we're going to be talking about, those that want to start farming, but those that even want to be part of that rabbit business, but not necessarily ukuthi banendawo noma bafuna ukufama noma bafuna ukuretailer, but they may want to work with the farmers, with the retailers, in a form of partnerships and collaborations. So we'll share more about that. But just lastly, one mistake that we don't want to make, just like Umpendulo was sharing, and as that he has shared in the past, ukuthi abantu bagcina belimazana kanjani, kugcina kube khona ukungqubuzana, nabantu abathatha iy'mali zabantu banyamalale. We don't want that. So we've decided to collaborate, but in a more functional way, without collecting any monies from anybody, just for a start. Then we prove ourselves. Then we make sure that in terms of supply, the rabbit meat is made available and people start getting familiar. Only then, sesiyibambile market sayibambisisa, sesibona ukuthi senzani, sibumbene njengembumbi. Ila sesoqala khona manje to open it up ukuthi sithi no, now we've got the proof of concept and everything. We welcome investors. At the moment, ufuna ungena njengefama uzifamele wena onogwaja, then we connect you with the retailers. Bese kuthi ke laba bathi no, bafuna ukuthi basebenzisane nama-farmers, not necessarily farming athi umuntu mhlawumbe uzothi abe ne-agreement naleyo farm eceleni, benze njalo kanjalo nama-retailers. So ngingathi nje uma ngingayifinqa lonkosi ilokho-ke okwamanje ngibonga kakhulu ngesikhathi okunye nokunye in terms of i-link yokuthi ujoyina kanjani these meetings, the strategic meetings esiba nawo, ngizobe bese ngikufaka la kwi-chat box so that we can further engage with those that are interested.
Thank you so much, Hlobi. Appreciate it, Hlobi. Thank you so much. This is very important, rabbit meat. And we did mention before, which we must push this rabbit meat to our establishments. Much of the businesses that unfortunately happen in our big townships. At Chatsworth, I did the survey. If you are at Chatsworth, you'll see how many factories surround Chatsworth and are inside Chatsworth. But when we are in Mlazi, Nagwamashu, essentially the big townships, including here in Soweto, and look at how many factories are right inside those big establishments. You'll be so shocked and surprised to realize that we are truly a consuming nation. We are a consuming people, and there seem not to be any strategy of really removing that old apartheid spatial planning, where people have to move from townships to the cities and to industrial areas. And we need to use the little that we have, which is my point. Umax target as our black brother to go to him and really say, we've got rabbit meat, put it in your menu. And so is other big establishments that are driven by indigenous people. That's very, very important because we're going to make a huge difference through just doing that. Actually, we must have a prospective list of all of those establishments so that we really go convince them, make sure that in their menu, we've got rabbit meat, we've got goat meat, which is highly consumed from Limpopo all the way up to Nigeria. For those of you who travel quite a bit would understand that. Thank you so much, Hlobi. Great work that you're doing. We're going to be pushing it big time, and your Isibaya Foods. We appreciate your brand, and this platform is about exactly exposing such brand. We've got lots of brands here that have grown from 0 to 1 million rand up to 100 million rand. You'll be so shocked and surprised, and pleasantly surprised actually to learn that we support such brands that were really organically created from this platform. I'm going to hand over now to Mr. Mahlaba. Mahlaba, please speak so I can see your mic, and then I'm going to, I see your mic, my brother. I'm going to hand over the hosting powers because I can't co-host. I told you about my gadget, which you still need to sort out as an IT person. Just kindly help me to accept people that will still be coming. About 91 right now. Over to you, Mr. Mahlaba. Digital aspects and why we need that, and how is this changing the world? We can't not include this in the whole ecosystem of our socio-economic and entrepreneurship development. Over to you, Cindy.
No, Sabanga Kulu Baba Nonkosi. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
To get my you are. I am. Okay, good. Just give me a second. I'm just going to try to get, because I wanted just to talk to just 2 slides. I think for me that's going to be enough. I'm just trying to get them through. I didn't do this before, so I'm going to try, because as I said, I'm on the road too, so I'm trying to do some really big magic here, which I don't normally able to do while I'm at meeting people at the same time. So one of the kids, so my name is Sandile Mahlaba. I work for a company called Microsoft. Part of the work I do, I'm supporting an organization called Go Digital SA. And what they do, they really, really work within the communities to be able to help them to be able to adapt into digital skills. So if this allow me, if it doesn't allow me, I will just drop it in the IM for people just to consume. But really, what I'm trying to kind of emphasize here, it's the economy that currently we are consuming, but I don't think we're benefiting from it. So if you think about it today, how many of you are, this is working now, so let me just go into my part. How many of you are currently consuming some of the things that we currently call them as a digital economy? The simple part that I wanted just maybe to highlight is the thing that you are currently using in terms of what you're doing today. Today we're busy talking in this platform as part of the platform that we are able to talk to. But let's ask ourselves here and be very clear with each other. We don't own this economy. This particular one especially, it's not something that we know very well. And it's something that we have never actually used before for us just to be able to benefit from. But going forward, these are some of the economies that are going to be dominant, and they will be taking over most of the things that we want to be doing in our lives. So I'm just going to show some of this just for your indulgence and just to understand how is really changing the way we're doing things and the way that we are adapting into the very big changes that you are seeing in the world. For example, today when you look at how we are consuming this particular economy called digital space, how many of us in this particular platform, as we're talking, you're already in your Google store, and you're able to sell meat or a meat? Those are the kind of questions that you must be thinking about. One key thing that I think takes our conversation for today. I'm not going to show anything. I'm just sorry, because I can see I'm struggling to get into my presentation correctly. I will just stop sharing. Maybe just talk directly on it on my side. So one of the conversation I had with Nonkos is the fact that I don't believe that majority of people in this call today understand that if you go to your WhatsApp, there is a ring that has got colors on it. In that ring that got colors, if you click on it, it says, ask me anything. Okay? When you click on it, it says, ask me anything. By the way, that means automatically you're in the AI world, meaning artificial intelligence is in your hand, in your phone. I don't know how many of you have taken exactly that ring, ask me anything, and then if you can type even now and say, please draw me a business plan for a rapid meat business with a budget. I can tell you now, it's going to draw you a document or as a start on how you can put together a business plan for a rapid meat. It's not a magic. It's artificial intelligence in your hand, meaning digital artificial intelligence in your hand. You are now able to start drawing documents by asking artificial intelligence to actually start a document for you and using WhatsApp. I mean, it's a very simple thing for now. If you click on that, it's going to change it to Mentor, and Mentor, you're going to be able to do what exactly I said to you. You go and ask any question, it says so. It will answer you with an answer that gives you the content of what you're looking for. For example, you can actually say, please solve for me this particular problem. It might be a maths problem. It might be an Afrikaans problem. You can even ask it, can you draft me a letter for a bank to be able to respond that can't pay? It should be able to formally give you a letter that is able to talk into that. So I'm just giving you just a slight part of what technology has turned out to be. It has actually slowly going into our places of comfort and able to offer us things that are beyond just a simple call or simple website or simple, I want just to do to send a message. It's now able to think for you, advise you, and be able to give you some of different parts. Here's the caution, Babu Nonkosi, which I think I wanted just to talk to. All these things are talking to what Babu Nonkosi spoke about earlier. We are now consuming technology so fast in our hands, so easy, that sometimes we then forget the reality that if we are consuming technology in that particular way, automatically we are feeding technology our information, and now we're training it and making it to be able to work with us. But we're not training our technology, we're training somebody else's technology, meaning Facebook, WhatsApp, AI, it's now getting intelligent more because we're training it. One of the key things that Nonkosi I always emphasize on this part, and I really, really would like one day to move more towards it. How then do we start establishing our own technology platforms that are able to be training? We're training them for our own benefit. You can ask today, how do I cook a rabbit meat? It's going to answer you. But what nice can it be if Amandla Omnotho and all associated stakeholders have their own trained AI that is able to respond on the information that we have loaded up and able to set it up for the market to be able to learn from us. So those are the kind of things that I want us just to really start triggering in our minds around how do we move on a notion of technology and digital economy, but with Africa and with South Africa and with our neighborhood, Umlazi, Wamashu, Olondi in mind, because some of the things that are coming in with technology are really disrupting how our forefathers or our old citizens and ourselves are able to do everything every day. I've showcased technology where it's able to draft and take over as a personal assistant, meaning that whoever used to be a person assisting me, I don't need them person to be there because I can ask technology to draft me a letter through AI, it will draft it, and I can ask it to send a report, it will send the report. I don't have to it's able to summarize the meetings for me and able to package a minute of the meeting and able to do an action plan just by listening as I'm speaking here. The Zoom, you will see that it's got something called AI Companion. It's able to do all those kind of work on your behalf as it's assisting you in this particular meeting in that part. So where I'm going with this, Nonkosi, firstly, I want just maybe one day to be thinking about how then do we learn to use the technology. And we didn't go digital because they are the only NGO that I'm able to work with them in this kind of work. We run some of the courses around how just to use technology, just a simple thing. How do I create my social media for my own organization as a company or anything I'm doing and able to ensure that it's pointing into different markets of interest to be able to trend on them. With abantu abanjengo Umpendulo who are doing marketing, I know they can actually be able to make sure that it's proficient for you. It actually represents who you are. On our side, we are able to train you to say, how don't you use and maintain it and constantly able to do things in a different part. I said it's an NGO, so you would just complement the fact that majority of this, we run it, as I won't say pro bono, but we run it as a way of how we can educate society, donate some of our time to do and to show how technology can be able to work to sustain the way you're doing things. One other last thing, there's a very good guy, and of course, if you remember the name, please do say it on your comment, who owns Tesla, okay? The guy who's owning Tesla, what he's doing today, he's actually have shot a couple of satellites into the globe, meaning the whole space is covered by a number of satellites that are connected. One of the things, if you read news and you have been viewing news a lot, you will know that, Elon Musk, yes, have met with the president, because I think we're one of the countries in Southern Africa that is not yet having the technology. The way that Elon Musk has done a change and a revolutionary change on connectivity, he has made sure with the satellite that are covering the world, including our country, are able to supply a very affordable internet into rural areas, into townships, into urban areas, because you can just imagine he's pushing internet from the space into the location wherever you are and able to transit with him. It's a very interesting read. If you go and look for Elon Musk and then you look for internet connectivity, you will see the story. He's got videos on it. He's been doing very well with it in other countries. South Africa is coming slowly towards it. Another caution I will say, again, now we're having an economy, which means that we are connectivity that's going to be coming into the rural areas, into townships. It's not going to be limited by access point, meaning I don't have to have a fiber cable. I don't have to have a tower for Vodacom or for MTN. This is going to be coming as a service from the level of, Starlink, yes. From the level of the space, and be able to occupy a lot of spaces that we're occupying too. But here's where, for myself, who actually work a lot with such technologies and the economies around it, they must ask ourselves, how then do we use this kind of availability of internet to start creating a digital economy for me? Okay, if I'm in Umlazi, the fact that I will be connected now, what does it mean? Because remember, it does not mean I'm going to have good Facebook, I'm going to have good TikTok, I will watch more videos. That is not the market, because you're consuming the same thing, you're creating somebody money. But we need to start thinking about, how do we really going to be able to use this speed of connectivity and availability of internet to be able to start driving our township economy, our rural economy. Babu Nonko, let's think about it. How do we establish our network of marketing, place where internet, we can use some pages to market the township economy, the rapid meet. All things we're talking about. Website does not work anymore. How do you use artificial intelligence to start doing this thing for our own language-based, cultural-based, heritage-based way of able to market and show for ourselves? If today we are struggling with MTN, availability of internet, I will tell you, within next year or two, that will be thing of the history of the past. But this new economy of digital will start plugging us in and then start making us to be able to work with each other. Challenge as I close. Have you ever thought about what does it mean to be able to be connected on the internet and start showcasing who you are? I've seen people in the TikTok to talk about their cultures. Simple things. Just for people to start understanding and start following you for your heritage and for the things that you can do. Here I go to a step higher. We, in South Africa, know the highest spoken language is Zulu, followed by, most of the African languages, then there's English, same as the fourth one. How many content have we created? I always challenge young people to say, how much content can you create in your own language just to create the telemetry of your language so that the Christians can start being able to ensure all the training of the artificial intelligence with Zulu being infused on it and the amount of availability of Zulu within the ecosystem of the economy, of digital economy, digital tools, it's able to start understanding proficiently our language and work with our language. I know I've said a lot of things, and I was wishing I could be able to show them in terms of like the presentation. I mean, the street presentation I was going to show, which talk to the skills and talking to what is the demand that we see today in the industry and why is the digital economy sitting currently. And I mean, unfortunately, I couldn't show them, but the very interesting one I was going to show is if today you think about TikTok, if today you think about YouTube, if today you think about Facebook, these are all American-based economy, digital economy, meaning if they're worth more than 50 billion, 500 billion, that is the currency sitting in the US dollar, sitting in America. Have you thought about us in our mind of saying, what are these big digital platforms that you can create in South Africa, in our space, because they don't need to be any kind of like in a good space, and then start driving a brand that the whole world will follow and be able to be associated with. In the invent of cell phones, Nino Wood was formed in Nigeria, meaning filming a movie was no longer about the camera and a fancy thing, was just about mostly just a phone to be used. We are enjoying those all short videos from Nigeria, and I mean Uganda, some of them, they came from there. Kenya followed. What are we doing? What are the small set of using some of the things in our hands to form this new economy that could be? Let's think about it. The internet coverage is coming very quickly, and I know for a fact that very soon we'll be enjoying a very much privilege of saying, wherever in a rural area, wherever I am, I will be able to connect on the internet into some of the things. Around the agriculture, by the way, we are busy working with BRICS, I mean with China. We are doing some of the things in KwaZulu-Natal around agri-IoT, because, you know, we want all of us, I mean, to still look at how we can do farming, but intelligent farming or smart farming these days is coming faster and is covering a lot of parts. So the other part that we are trying to do is through Go Digital again, how can you be able to create those knowledge points and how to create those knowledge hub? And we are working with SADARA, which is Department of Agriculture and Rural Development College in Pietermaritzburg, where we're going to open the first training center that's going to be able to train on the agri-IoT and some of the technical, agricultural things that you can use. So I'm looking forward to really engaging with Amandla Omnotho more and seeing how we can run some of the parts. And through yourself, and of course, I will send some of the notes in terms of where I will training next. Some of them are virtual. I mean, some of them going to be coming through an institution that you are busy talking with them, just to get people to get to understand what is fourth industrial revolution, what is coming in technology, and then start training them slowly around artificial intelligence and how we can use it from a personal level. So there's 3 tools I've spoken about. There's the one that is in WhatsApp. There's a ring there, which is colorful. Click on it, it says, ask me anything. Start asking it, even a recipe on how to cook or anything, and test and see who's going to answer to you. There's another one called Bing, it's called Bing Copilot. I will put some of the extensions in terms of the IM for you to be able to kind of like use them and start asking this question, ask them to write an assignment and see what's going to come back. And start asking it to help you with your business and see what's going to come back. Once again, thank you very much, Nonkosi. I know it's a short time, and I would have loved, as I said, to fly some of the slides, but I will send them as a document later, so just for able to be distributing it and then see if ever people can learn something out of this.
Thank you so much, Tendi. Truly appreciate your insight as always. I think what is very important here is the point I've taken. How do you establish a technological platform that should respond to our needs? It is so sad to still behold what happens right across the sectors of economy, and including in the restaurant space, and the fact that we still do not have our food. We know we've got our own indigenous food that we know for sure we were eating, which was very healthy, which does not seem to be seeing it through to the menus in our restaurants. I always tease people whenever I'm sort of like ordering some breakfast. I always get to hear English breakfast, and I always ask, where is Zulu breakfast? Where is Sotho breakfast? Where is Xhosa breakfast? And again, this is not just to tease them, but it's a reality of what we have to do and to change. I said when I started, if it is to be, it's up to us. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We need to really start doing something around changing the narrative, the economic sphere. These 7 mountains of influence, we learned that some years ago, one of which is the economic space. It's very critical that we really ride on top of it and not be dictated to, and ensure that even this huge technological upsurge and growth and the new wave, we do not just become consumers of it, but we really become partakers in terms of changing the genome of it and the gene of it. I'm very happy, Mamu, Dr. Khoza, because I think to hijack you, I've been following your work, especially in the academic space. I think this talk to you is exactly direct in terms of, how do we code and sikhulume ilimi zethu ngendlela siyifake the language into the system itself right throughout. So I think it will be so good to in the future get you to participate in these discussions and guide as you've been doing. Mr. Mahlaba, you are going to be part of obviously the Rural Chamber of Commerce launch, and I'm going to request, as we were talking earlier this morning, that you be part of it in terms of explaining further what is this and how is this change going to be impacting our lives. So thank you so much, Tim. Truly appreciate. We were out there in the men conference with Mr. Mahlaba. Every year we always go out as brothers who grew up together, just to relax a little bit out of all the busy schedule that we're involved in. Truly appreciate that you're still on the road and you were able to stop and share with us. So lastly, because the Nobantu Mfeka, she's going to be featured next week. But lastly, very importantly, Dr. Chief Godfrey Marang has been driving from Zimbabwe. You know Godfrey, he's a German citizen, but he's born from Zimbabwe. He's been living in Germany there for 45 plus years. Him and I have been working together in the past 15 years, traveling all over Germany and making sure that we sign up those offtakes in those particular markets. And passionate zealot on matters of economic development and uplifting of indigenous people in the entire African continent. Dr. Marange talked through this medicinal herbs things. He's wearing lots of caps and he's a mining engineer. You saw his profile last week, and as some of you know him already. But I think there are people who've been coming in drips and drabs just to engage on this medicinal herbs. Today I just said to him, please just maybe cover about 20 of these herbs, because these are very, very important herbs for our bodies. I see one of our friends, Mr. Martin Yarare, who is Zimbabwean living in South Africa, being taken up by many of these big companies on the basis that they're saying is defaming them, because he's telling them that they are doing a lot of GMO and the food no longer tastes the same. Don't we have a right to speak our minds, Bagit and Flavin, and be able to demand what goes through our mouths? Why are we now being persecuted? I was just very happy to hear. I was just watching him on the Black panel, and I just said, this is just something very, very strange. Anything that we ingest, Bagit, we have to have a right to say what is it. And we can't be controlled by big industry and telling us what to eat and what not to eat in the name of commercialization and whatsoever. Dr. Marange, over to you, sir. Unmute yourself, Dr. Marange, and speak, my brother. Let me see. Godfrey. Okay, in the meantime, whilst we're waiting for Godfrey, I'm going to ask you to just go through our chat box there. You'll see some of the information that we are going to be, that was being shared here, which is very, very important. That just look at that, get it as part of your arsenal. Dr. Maranga, you can, I was trying to call you, so I see you now. You can go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon all, and good afternoon all members of Amandla Omnotho and all the aspiring, especially in the food industry called medicinal herbs, because medicinal herbs are part of our food, should be part of our food. And as we speak, a lot of people are not well because of what Nongosi has said right now about commercialization of food, which is making us sick. We are all having all these challenges, cancers, diabetes, and all these we are having because of what we are eating. And we are that nature gave us medicinal organic herbs, which are good for health, where we don't need our immune systems on a daily basis. At one point, my kids, doctors, were saying to me that, do you know that 90% of some of the medicines that are prescribed against diabetes and and let's say cancers would be wrong to our organic matter, and 5% of do well. Medicines that are infused in our bodies become dangerous to our immune system. Today, I would like to say if I were not feeding on medicinal herbs, I would not have done the hectic arrangement that I had or the hectic travel that I had Wednesday last week when I went to Zimbabwe to go and organize some of the seeds that many farmers now are demanding, medicinal seeds. I will talk a lot of some of these herbs that we need to do now. And I drove on Wednesday night to the border. And my first shock, obviously, is that at the border, you spend almost 3 hours trying to get this paper and then cross into our neighboring country. And that whole thing took about 3 hours before you start driving. So 6 a.m. we were still at the border. Then we continued and arrived in Harare around 3 in the afternoon. And then we had to continue to the east, where Arusha, where most of you have visited. And we arrived there at 6 in the following in the evening. So we had to sleep a bit, and then the following day we were doing what we had to do and start the journey back. And got into Harare, and yesterday at 8 o'clock left and arrived at the border today around 4 a.m. And again, today it was better. We spent almost an hour, but still it's time lost. Where in Europe, they don't have these borders. In Africa, we have these borders, which are done for, and these are always going to, as Nongos always say, limit inter-Africa trade. Anyway, the herbs that we are going to be growing and over time are mainly some of those which can be harvested every 3 months. We're talking of dandelion. Dandelion is a herb which is good, which you can harvest three things from it. That is the flower after it changes into seed. That is the leaves every 3 months. And then later on, after maybe 18 months, you harvest the root. And you can actually cover up the costs of your expenses through the harvesting the leaves. And when you get to the real thing, which is the root, which is also used for cancer treatment, then you are now making super process. So what I would like only to say is that medicinal herbs, because of the demand-driven atmosphere that is out there in Europe and all over the world, they have becoming the food for many people on a daily basis. So we are not aware of that. But this is the time to get into this, do it. But the industry would require you to be able to show traceability. Nobody will just buy if they don't know how you have developed the product. whether your soils are not contaminated, whether around yourself we are not in the neighborhood of those that are going to be spraying regularly, and then insects or these sprays access your organic setup. So all those things need to be taken care of. And we, as Global African Herbal Solutions, with my brother here, Nonkosi, we assist farmers to be able to get into that documentation paper trail, which is required by the market, so that the market knows on a daily basis what you are doing with your crop. Dandelion, I have explained what it means. We need spearmint, peppermint, melissa, all in the same family. Again, these are in huge demand all over the world, and in Zimbabwe, the spearmint has been the best so far in the world because of documentation, and then later on the quality was analyzed and the quality became good. We are looking at bird's eye chili. Bird's eye chili, we are going to get frutescence S out of it, a chemical which is which redresses arthritis and all those sicknesses that are concerned with old age. And we are looking at bird's eye chili again. It does well where in hot areas. We have got what we would call a herb for each area in Africa. Africa prides itself for having almost 65% of arable land. We can now feed the whole medicinal herbs properly grow you after I said Rochelle, that the returns are very high. They are very high, but access to this market was never possible to us as African people. And now, because of my relationship with Nonkos and our presence in Germany, we are going to make sure that every farmer that will grow has got presence there. I always joke and say, Mercedes-Benz, all those companies, they don't talk about offtake into Africa, offtake markets, and so that they support whatever they do. No, they create their product and they tell you, for us to create this product, this is the amount of money we have put into this product. So if we want it, this is the price we are going to give you. Then you start negotiating from there. Where on earth would one give an offtake and say, this is your offtake? On what basis would they have calculated that value, good or bad? On what basis would they have done that? That is the question which has structurally impoverished Africa for the past 800 years or so. So we must change that. Changing that is that we are present, as Nonkosi said in his introduction, that we are present there. We then go there and dictate what must happen with our product. We will say, this is my irrigation schedule. This is the amount I have spent. This is my monthly electricity bill. It's compounding to the cost of producing this. This is what I've been doing on a daily basis in my crop diary recordings. And this is all that I have done. These are the workers that I must pay so much because they deserve such a payment, since they have to make sure the quality, hygiene, and everything on these herbs is assured. So then that is the price we're offering. And when we value add, we must have the latitude to value add wherever we want, whether in Germany, in Russia, at the moon, or whatever. And in South Africa, we must value add there, but still, returns on our product. Okay, we are given an uptake, and then it ends there. What happens there after?
If you can just switch off your video so that you improve your voice quality. Yeah. Go ahead, my brother.
Okay, let me try this video. Oh. Okay. So now, one of that which has become very lucrative is turmeric. Turmeric has got two products that you can harvest from there. That are the tubers, as well as the leaves. The leaves, where you can achieve between 10 to 15 per hectare, have got a lucrative price. You can Google yourself what the prices are in terms of what you can use the turmeric leaves for. There's what they call turmeric milk drink. There's what they call turmeric tea. There's what they call turmeric coffee, and all those should be produced by us and blended by our farmer, so that traceability goes to the farmer, credibility goes to what the farmer is doing. That is where we must lead ourselves to. So I also believe that with all these digital applications, let's make a brand and brand Africa, and let's unite all Africans in our diversity of temperatures, climates, and so on, and come together and say these products which are going to feed the world, which are going to save the world from Africa. And we are going to be able to there's no way a baobab can be seen in Berlin. There's no way. A baobab shall be seen in the low-lying areas in Limpopo, Zimbabwe, and so Eswatini, and everywhere where you can see a baobab. It's a superfood. The powder there, if you Google what it does, the oil, which you Google what it does, you will see that we have got a natural God-given resource which must be then harvested sustainably and benefit the people who are harvesting. So we will be doing also wherever a wild harvesting of some of these products like baobab, resurrection. I'm sure most of you know the resurrection. Resurrection is a plant which in winter it dies. And then in summer, when the rain starts, it again starts to flower. So one must wonder, why does it do that? There must be something strong in this behavior of this plant. And indeed, resurrection is used for many, many uses in the medical industry. So let us grow it, let us harvest it sustainably. There are many, many more such wild harvesting plants that sometimes are known by our traditional healers, who we should protect. If they give us the knowledge, let's propagate those plants and being able now to offer royalties to those that know them, so that they also benefit in all this value chain. So many of these herbs that we are going to be growing, it's more than 20 of them. We are going to be growing, each region being able to have specific products that are suited or that are acclimatized to those areas where they are, have got a market, all of them. They've got a market, and all of them have got antioxidant qualities and characteristics, and they can heal our bodies and also remove some of the radicals that are in our systems and so on. Today, if I were near some of you, I've brought in some new medicines that I saw being done by traditional healers in Zimbabwe, and some of them are very good for some of the challenges many people are having on a daily basis with their health. Yeah, so in short, I would love to have questions on this, but we are ready to assist any farmer that is able to say, okay, I've got suitable land. The business plans are very easy for us to assist people to develop them. And then we are saying, we don't give you an offtake. You are part of us into the market, because offtake is a joke. Because what price I'm going to give you, where would it have been determined for? But we must jointly make sure that we document your costings, you document everything you are doing on the ground, so that we say this is the price that you deserve. Together, we push that price on the market. So in short, that is what I would love to have questions. But in terms of biodiversity, in terms of herbs that can be grown, the list is endless. New are coming up on a daily basis, actually, for your own information. And they are coming up and they have been shunned because everyone, until the world is demanding these herbal remedies, our knowledge of the herbal systems have been shunned. People would be considered uncivilized if they would, after getting sick, go into the bush and get something for their remedy. But COVID systems, right? COVID made us to understand that most of the people survived during the COVID because of these medicinal plants they would use to steam themselves and so on and so. And I hear recently someone told me today that there is another COVID which is going to come out of Ukraine, we are told. So be careful. Please make sure you get your linganas, you get all these other herbs, and be ready to steam. You shall be experiencing some funny flus that are going to come, especially when winter is already over. And you wonder why these things are coming. Let us boost our immune systems using our local, in each province, you have something against that. And lastly, I would like to say, we are also going to integrate our herbal solutions with what we call apiculture, which is the study of the bees. The bees are the ones that make the pollinating job for our herbs. So when we are having the bees around, then we are sure that our herbal, the yield also can improve by the bees. The bees, you don't need to pay them anything. They do their job, you harvest the honey, and that honey, we can then call it turmeric honey, ginger honey, dandelion honey, spearmint honey, and already it carries medical qualities. And we have a huge market within the Catholic churches in Germany. In Germany, they've got two major churches. That is the Catholic Church and the Lutheran Church. And the Catholic Church alone, we are looking at maybe 40 million Christians there. And all of them, I would count when we were moving across Germany with Kukuletu, Nonkosi, and we'll say, look at that small village. It has got 5 churches. And all of them now will be going to church if they hear there's honey there. They will go there and say, hey, Pastor, can you preach quickly so that after the church service, they buy their honey, because we are attracting the people back to church by making sure we supply this honey from you farmers who are going into that market, and then they will be sold only after the church service, so that people come and then start to hear about, start to pray and interact in godly things. And we are hoping that we will have our African brothers in their different churches cooperating with those churches and preach the new religion of Christianity in that space. And we use our honey to sweeten everyone there at the end of the church service. Again, we'll be making products out of the harvesting of the honey. Soap, we'll be doing that. Propolis, you just Google what propolis does, which is a natural antibiotic, and we will be having it because 60% of our immune system is happening in our stomach. And this propolis, being a natural antibiotic, it will only attack the harmful bacteria in your stomach. And then your immune system is well and good. So apiculture and organic medicinal herbs, we have brought them together as one agricultural activity that is going to make people occupied for a long time to come.
Oh, thank you so much, my brother. That is so good. Look, I know we've been talking about this time and time again, and there is a reason behind that. We are going to now move into a stage and a space where we want such to be implemented. I know we always get people to attending here, even from who are serious people in their different fields, engineers, doctors, members of parliament, and influential people, and people who hold the purse. It's very important that you be part of these sessions and the session that's coming, which is to do with the Rural Chamber of Commerce and Industry, because that's where we want to bold things now and make sure that we start really helping people who need to be funded. And even yourself, you don't have to wait for that long to start. That's why last week we said, let you start, even if you start doing half a hectare of turmeric, so that you can generate more of these seeds that are organically generated. And the next year around, you start farming. Remember, the returns here are very huge, 200,000 euros in 1 hectare. That's close to 4 million rand. If you become very conservative, you just say 2 million rand, right? As an example. So this is what we're doing currently with Dr. Marange. That's what is being done in Zimbabwe. That's why we sent quite a few people. I see Amandla, I see, and many others who went over to La Rochelle. And we've been sending many people to go see what's happening there. And now we're doing it in Koffiefontein, working with mines so that they can, sort of like repurpose their social labor plans towards the economic sustainability of the communities where they are mining, because that's a finite resource and it's a wasteful one. It finishes over time and the communities are left wanting long after the mine is gone. And that's happening right now in many parts of South Africa. And we need to challenge mines, and those that have got contacts and connections with mines, come forward. Let's work with you to activate economic activities, because we've got a master plan and the intelligence on how we can turn things around in those places. So we are out of time, but I would like if there's one or two questions. Yes, you can go ahead, Dr. Marange.
Yes, my mission why I went to Zimbabwe is that last week on a Sunday we had that virtual meeting, and yes, it raised some interest in the banking industry there. And you remember we twinned one bank with one of our partner banks there in Europe. You remember?
I remember NMB. Yes,
they called me. Yeah, NMB and so on with Rabobank, and now they came. The church is there. The NMB would like to support the church there because they see it lucrative. So that meeting we had was the reason also, besides going to organize it, that I went there. So they are going to start on a huge platform. That is the church. Yeah, it's called SFM Church. So they are going to start, and this is religion compared. I mean, they were telling me about how they relate religion to this new industry. It was exciting. Yeah. So
that's good.
Let's do it. Everyone, feel free to call us, and we get engaged into getting started. As Nongo said, half a hectare also, come together, join hands as Africans, right? In a village, find land together and contribute. You get your seed, you put it, then next year, you are now expanding big time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Marange. I appreciate that feedback, because it's so good that, we've got Zimbabwe now moving through our conference launch last year, which happened to be virtual. So I would like to give you an opportunity for those that would like questions. In the next 10 minutes, we'll be closing. And we appreciate you for staying put. And then thereafter, I'm going to bring the announcements and chart the way forward. If you've got a question, please raise your hand. I'd appreciate engaging with you. And then obviously we'll address some of them on the box, many of which were comments. Yeah. Minent, your mic is opened. Are you asking any question?
Yes, Mr. Nonkosi. My question to the doctor is, regarding it dandelion, because we know it's an alien invasive. So is there maybe a plan in place with the environmental services? You can go at a larger scale for medicinal purposes. Norma, you would have to find a way when yourself as a person who's going to be growing the dandelion. Thank you, Nokos.
Okay, a very quick response, Dr. Marangi.
The question again is saying it's an invasive.
Yeah, it dandelion.
Can you?
Go ahead. Just repeat, Buti.
Yes, doctor. Yes, it dandelion is declared invasive under alien invasives. But what I want to ask is maybe because it's medicinal, is it a prerogative of the farmer to go to the authorities to say, okay, give me a permit to grow this because it's an invasive?
Yeah, but yes, I hear your question. But if you go into the bush here, everywhere, you see it growing. So and now here it will be grown under controlled situations where you are harvesting the leaves every 3 months, drying them, and sending them into the market. So it's a herb that is in big demand. Why is it the dandelion? What is interesting with the dandelion is that when it flowers, and then it creates those white flower, which is now dry, and the wind takes it, it goes all over the place. So we make sure that people harvest it, not because we want to let it not invade, no, because we need the seed. It's medicinal. So whatever we're growing there, we are growing to harvest. That is what, because the world needs it. So it's being done all over. Growing under control situation is to make sure that you are harvesting what you are growing and drying it, packaging it for the medicinal market.
Thank you, Doc. Chair, can I come in again just for a follow-up question?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, Doc. Now, in terms of size, like for you to be eligible to supply to market, what are we looking at in terms of size? A hectare and above? Like maybe if you can just clarify on that one, Chair. Thank you.
Right. For dandelion, you can have 2-3 hectares because remember you are harvesting every 3 months and you can achieve up to 8 tons per harvest. So, and then the prices are quite good. Remember, we'll be dictating them. So, in terms of harvesting every 3 months, and again for 18 months, so you have got about six harvest periods of the leaf that you need, and then later on the plant. Again, as I told you, with dandelion, you are covering most of the costs by the leaves only, by harvesting the leaves.
Yeah.
So in terms of hectareage, if you have a minimum of 4 hectares, 3 hectares, it's okay. Because we don't want people only to do one product.
Yeah.
Say 5 hectares. And put your turmeric on 2 hectares, right? And the rest, you choose dandelion. Lemongrass is one also exciting one, which you can harvest every 6 weeks, actually, with lemongrass. So, and all the returns are there. We'll give you, the moment you choose what you need, we'll give you the expected returns if you do certain things. Once we know your soil types, soil structure, whether it's acidic or alkaline, then we know what is it that you must put in terms of composting manure per hectare, which will also assist you to make. No rocket science here, we assist you in every stage of the process.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Marangi. Right, one more last question. Zippo? Zippo, see your mic is on. Maybe it's just by mistake. Okay, mute it. I think on so Uqindi, which Mr. Mahlaba is definitely going to be coming through. Siskolisa Vuani Lemnyama Sponge, umsana Dimon Lowahlansela Africa, Sebonga. Investor Coach, is this for individual investors or groups? both individuals or groups. Thanks, Klubi, for the Rapid Farmers and Retailers link. The company I work for, Yomuntu, we have supplied municipality with over 200 goats twice and are looking at creating more satellite farmers as well. Zamani Mkize, that's fine. Let's work together on that, because the key thing about these goats is you need the production stock, which is very important. That's what we emphasize on. Otherwise, you can finish all the goats in South Africa with the markets that we have all over, but we need production stock, right? So thanks, Luby, for more about rabbits. Please go to that link. Link for goat producers, I think Pendula mentioned, www.investorgoat.co.za, investagoat.co.za. And thanks for highlighting Charles Johnson. The internet solution is called Starlink. Thank you so much, as well as Fluby, you've given us that, as well as the www.starlink.com/US. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Lungi Gininza, Eswatini, what can you say about VR? I think he's going to answer that. And as well as Fluby, your sharing there is, I hope everybody's noting. This is Gloria. Hi, Ngosi. Is he talking about Meta on WhatsApp? I missed that part. I had to log in using a laptop. I think that's it, Gloria, I'm sure. If Iqin is still here, he can just weigh in. Lungile, thanks, Goat Rabbit and AI Talk. We need to go back to indigenous foods. I'm extremely excited about participating in this evolution. We are over 340 years behind as Black South African natives in every aspect of economy and digital space. Dr. Makosi Kwaza, appreciated, Ma'am. But Matam, I would appreciate contact for Mr. Matlab. I'm not sure whether he's still here, but he's always been here. I'll try and get that one for you. Lungile Gininza, Haps, Dandelion, Spearmint, Bets, IGL. By the way, you can even write that, Spearmint and all that. Then you'll see behind your house, would these things grow naturally? They are there. So maybe it's just that in our indigenous languages, when we write them, we must write next to them what is our indigenous language for that particular thing, because you may think it's something that is so I have there. No, I didn't want to show it. It's all over. Milk thistle, you know, logo pictures will be smoke pictures and all of that. Early warning system for COVID, Noctula. Did I hear that we can start turmeric with one head? Of course. So thanks for Lungile for just pushing all of those things. They are very, very important. And then can he share his contact for further information? For the reservation plan, what is utilized and how in brief? Is it drought tolerant? Dr. Morange, probably you can share your contact. Please, again, I know sharing contacts, sometimes I try and protect my speakers, because people can get to inundate you with many calls and you end up not getting efficient during the day. But it's always better that we try and control things as we put them on the WhatsApp group, so that it becomes easy. So that you don't say he's not answering me and he's busy with so many other things, but we'll surely try and accommodate you as well. I'm just putting that as a cautionary, because I know getting 100 calls can be very much in a day. So Dr. Maranga, your last parting shot, and then we close.
All I want to say is me and Guguletu have conquered the market, and we've untangled what Berlin conference did to Africa. So Guguletu did a very great service in Berlin to say, here we are going to be present. So everyone that is going to work with us, you don't need any offtake. You need to make sure that you are there on the market with us and grow. And the market is huge and the wealth is there. We are not, we don't want to beat about the bush. The wealth is there. Let's go into it. We help our own brothers in Africa. Many people are sick because of what we eat. Let's get to eat what is good. We are also going to diverge to grow crops that are good for those which are getting us sick. It's unfortunate. Redressing it is within the rural areas, like Operation Buyalekaya. That's a massive program that is going to change the African health also here. Besides healing other people from outside, we must also heal our own people by providing them with good food and medicine.
Thank you so much, Dr. Marange. On the 22nd of November, we are having the launch of Rural Chamber of Commerce and Industry. That's where I'm encouraging you to be there. The venue that we have gotten is small, can only take 150 people and not more in Durban. I think it's on Normal Hotel. Please take note of that. And you will get the pamphlet circulated all over so that you see all the details pertaining to the particular conference. And this conference as well, it's going to be a precursor to our big conference. Remember, we've shifted Amandla Omnotho annual Grand Economic Conference to next year, June. But this particular conference is going to be a precursor to our other conference, which is happening in March, 27 to 29 of March 2025 at the ICC. Again, I've been appointed to be the vice chair of BRICS, WBA on food security. And again, the issue I've always raised about all of these structures, good as they are, it doesn't filter down to me and you, Nongoma, etc., all those places. Many people don't even know how to interact with these structures properly and exploit the opportunities thereof. The purpose of our launch, 22nd of June, will again be to ensure there is aligning you to intra-Africa trade trajectory so that you'll know how to trade with Africa as a continent, your continent. And you'll know how to trade with BRICS plus group of countries. A huge opportunity. So please take note of that. It's very important. And then obviously I am on radio because the 8:20 on this coming Wednesday, I'll be talking about the BRICS currency and what it means and where we're going, even touching on this Rural Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Every weekend, we set time aside, we talk. Siyakhuluma senzela ukuthi sicijane ngezomnotho nanamathuba kufanele sibe now. And please, you're welcome to suggest. Drop me something that you think, you know what, there are funders that are legit that we can look into so that we collectively work on those types of things. Or there are opportunities elsewhere. We share those opportunities on our groups precisely to make sure that we move forward. Because as it's been said, we're actually far behind in every aspect of societal structures and these 7 mountains of societal influence. We need to capture the lost ground and move faster than ever before. Truly appreciate your patience and your being here tonight. May you have a good week, and we'll update you on our WhatsApp group. Good evening. Let's stop there.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you.